Well, the time has finally come for postseason play to come to the football field, and we have got you covered for your Friday night game previews as we get ready for two big postseason battles for both the Moscow Bears and the Colfax Bulldogs. Let's start off with a team that hasn't been to the state playoffs since 1997. The Moscow Bears get ready to host the state playoff football game for you against Bonneville Bees. And it should be a good one tonight. Of course, we've got the coverage starting for you at 6:45 p.m. with the kickoff at 7 on AM 1400 ESPN Radio and also listentothegame.com. So a big game tonight. When we look at this Bonneville team, they've had a successful season, 6-3 overall, 4-1 in their league play, so they have that winning record. They've got to come up, though, to a tough Bear field, and that's going to be a bit of tough conditions. We've seen a lot of rain here in the Palouse, but Bonneville will try to get ready for it as Moscow gets ready to host. And let's talk a bit about this game and what really is at stake for Moscow. Well, of course, it's do or die, but what kind of a team is this Bonneville team? Well, we talked to Coach Helbling last night. You'll hear part of his interview in the pregame show tonight before kickoff. And really, he talked about this team, a very talented team offensively, especially the running back, number 33. He's very fast, and their quarterback is fast as well. And with these rainy conditions, we're probably not going to see as much passing as we would in a regular drier conditions. So we're going to see a lot of the run game probably from Bonneville. And of course, as we know Moscow, we're going to see them run the ball as well. So when we look at this game and for the Moscow Bears to try to get a win tonight and to advance to the state semifinals, it's going to come down to what's really come down in the last couple games. Can they force the turnovers? Now, some of those turnovers have been not to the defensive effort for Moscow, but more mistakes from the other teams. But still, their defense has played a role with the interceptions, and it needs to play a role tonight. Moscow definitely has to be on point defensively, especially stopping that fast running back. That elusive quarterback will be big for the Bears. On the offensive side of things, well, we know the running game will be there. We've seen Hunter Renninger again and again the past few weeks do a good job. Also, Brady Braun has done a good job as well. But the passing game continues to need to be there as a part of their back plan. So with these rainy conditions, we're going to see the ball run. But what happens when you're looking at a 3rd and 7, a 3rd and 8, a 2nd and long, that you need to get a higher chunk of yardage? We have to see Kyle Snyder be on point. Also, we've seen big play from the receivers. We can talk about it all day. Of course, the game against Lakeland where Alex Lewis came up with a huge catch. He's been big in the past couple games receiving-wise, so look out for them. So Moscow and Bonneville, again, that starts at 6:45 with our pregame show on 1400, the Palouse's ESPN, and also listentothegame.com as the Moscow Bears get ready to host the state playoff game. How about for the Colfax Bulldogs? They get ready for the District 7 and 9 crossover game against Tico Oakesdale Rosalia. And this is a very, and I mean very talented Tico Oakesdale Rosalia team. They know how to average a lot of points. They've averaged 32 so far this season, and it's brought them to a 7-1 record. They just lost a couple weeks ago against DeSales, 38-12. So that's their only blemish on the season, as they've got that 7-1 record. And they know how to score. This team, like I said, averaged 32 points. So already for the Colfax defense, that's going to be a big pressure point, is to try to stop that Tico Oakesdale Rosalia offense. How about Colfax, though? When we look at their game last week, a 20-6 win over Davenport, and they're also looking good on the average points, though they've only played a couple less games than Tico Oakesdale Rosalia. They still have averaged 30 points in their game. So Colfax offense looking good. When we look on paper, these teams are very close as far as number goes, even in those points. Tico Oakesdale 32, Colfax 30 points average, so it comes down, I think, to the defense. Also remember, Colfax is hosting this one, and I think that will play a bigger role than you can even imagine. We know that Colfax has dedicated fans, but what about it as we get closer to that postseason and trying to get a state playoff berth is on the minds of the Colfax Bulldogs and their fans. So I expect a big game here for the Colfax defense is needed. Colfax definitely needs to step up on defense and not allow Tico Oakesdale Rosalia that average of points. Because if we wrote it down on paper, Tico Oakesdale Rosalia scores more points than Colfax on paper. But this Colfax defense is much tougher than that. This defense is coming off only allowing 6 points last week. So I think the defense steps up big here, and it will be a big one for Colfax, Antico, Oakdale, Rosalia. You can hear the Bulldogs coming up tonight. That one starts as well with the broadcast at 6:45 p.m. tonight. It'll be on 1450 KCLX Palouse Country. Kickoff is at 7, and remember, you can also tune in to that game online on listentothegame.com. So just in a few hours, we'll have your big postseason games for Moscow and Colfax. We will hope you tune in tonight if you can't make it out to the field.